may I invite third speaker, Dr. Anish Sharma. He is going to speak on PCI in carotid in diastolic heart failure.
Thank you, Dr. Mahapatra, Dr. Manoria, for giving me an opportunity. In the next 12 minutes, we are going to discuss about the percutaneous coronary interventions in heart failure with preserved ejection fraction. And Dr. Bala has made my job easy by telling or summarizing all these things about the revascularization. I'll quickly jump about the intervention, that is a angioplasty, what we call normally. So we all know clinical evidence of heart failure is must. That is dyspnea mostly, maybe sometime fatigue or maybe right side heart failure symptoms. And then objective evidence of normal LV systolic function and objective evidence of abnormal LV relaxation filling. It is a heterogeneous condition, multiple comorbidities and different phenotypes. CAD is an important maybe cause or maybe sometime it is just a bystander. But whatever way, the coronary artery disease can result in initial stage diastolic heart failure, what we call preserved heart failure, and then may later on cause the systolic dysfunction. CAD presence, the prognosis is bad, and treatment of CAD improves the prognosis, that is sure. We all know the coronary artery disease is no more an obstructive disease only, it is a chronic inflammatory process which affects the myocardial as well as vascular stiffness and results in the impaired relaxation and increased filling pressures. The most commonly CAD is present as a phenotype B, and that is important in some patients. It is just a bystander, maybe in 35 to 53%, some it is 64% cases, but it can be caused or it can present as a angina equivalent. Heart failure can present as angina equivalent. Mechanism is multifactorial. The four most important thing is to give the diuretics, and after diuresis, still symptom persist, we should then think of the angina equivalent. So Dr. Bala already showed these slides that CAD with heart failure preserved ejection fraction means reduced survival. You can see very well difference. The with CAD is red, low survival. It is again followed the longitudinally, and if we found then later on if we follow, those with CAD ultimately result in the reduction in the systolic failure. Wonderful article by Dr. Huang et al. Presented in the JAMA and JCC 2014. Again, you can see here, if we revascularize the green one, the heart failure with CAD revascularized is better survival as compared to those who are not survival. And in the right side slide, you can see those who have treated revascularized is as good as without CAD. So that is very wonderful, important benefit is there. What is that article summarize? Complete revascularization. Mind it, remember the word complete revascularization and complete functional revascularization. So what guideline says? Only two class 1 indications for preserved ejection fraction: diuretics for symptomatic relief and avoid the volume overload and control of the blood pressure. And coronary revascularization is class 2A indication with level of evidence C. It is reasonable in patient with CAD in whom symptoms, if symptoms are not there, that there is a demonstrable myocardial ischemia having adverse effect on symptomatic heart failure despite guideline directed medical therapy. Three words you need to remember. One is about the symptoms, another is demonstrable myocardial ischemia, and third is in spite of the despite guideline directed medical therapy. So what is the rationale? Why you want to revascularize? For symptomatic relief, maybe refractory to medical therapy, want to reduce the myocardial infarction or prevent the hospitalization, or very importantly, mortality reduction and improvement of survival. But the goal is complete functional revascularization. It is just not an anatomical disease. Finding blockage does not mean to revascularize everything. Now the important thing which is emerging in the last couple of years is the functional word. Mind it. So what factors are considered by heart team? Now there is a two important thing has emerged, like last month only published the ACC guidelines. It is about involvement of the patient, and as a heart team is surgeon, cardiologist, physician, and they discuss what they're supposed to see, the anatomical complexity, whether it is suitable for CABG or it is suitable for plastic. And it is about not the syntax score, it is the functional score, because many lesions look complex or maybe tight, but when we do FFR or other non-hyperemic functional, they show that it is not functional. So very important thing is the functional and anatomical assessment. Then extent of ischemia can be detected by the dobutamine stress echo, myocardial perfusion imaging, or maybe cardiac MR. As far as patient comorbidities are concerned, the most important things are diabetes, systolic dysfunction, maybe other comorbidities, morbidities, and maybe like presence of coagulopathy, valvular heart disease, frailty, malignant neoplasm, end-stage renal disease, COPD, immunosuppression, and aortic aneurysm or maybe calcified aorta. But patient point of view, the most important thing is clinical presentation. Like if it is unstable, is to be treated more aggressively. More severe symptoms and hemodynamically unstable symptoms with arrhythmia to be aggressively treated by intervention. And if it is not responding to medical therapy, it is a preferred prevention, is PCI is preferred. And what is the patient preference that already I discussed is very, very important thing. There is very interesting article by Tonio in JCC 2010 that it was considered a triple vessel disease, multi-vessel disease to be subjected for CABG, but then they analyze it by FFR and they found it interestingly though there are different studies which showed from 20 to 30% crossover after the FFR, but this study showed that only 14% patient remained triple vessel and 47 were remained two vessel and one vessel was 34 and there was zero vessel disease. Zero vessel showed FFR less than 0.8 in 9%. So functional important is seen. Earlier we used to say that angio is supreme code. This is no more correct. Now functional assessment is very, very important. So we need to assess the risk, benefit and cost. So assess the risk of CABG, angioplasty, maybe STS score, then liver and so many other things need to be seen. Then again, FAME trial showed that importance of the FR. Patient involvement, heart team approach is very, very important. Again, what is to be seen? Symptoms, severity and instability, evidence of ischemia, response to medical therapy, whether it is a left main involved, multivessel, particularly proximal LAD, then suitability and complexity of anatomy, functional assessment, ejection fraction, comorbidities and patient preference. Then we can go and even like this is about the stable ISD as far as the ACS is concerned. If again it is a hemodynamic instability or arrhythmia, then we need to immediately go for intervention. If there is a Grace score is more than 140, within 24-hour intervention. Otherwise, other patient should be subjected to angiography before discharge. And this is about the CAD for prognosis and for symptom relief. Symptomatic, there are 5 indications. One is with the reduced ejection fraction. Other 4 are with the preserved ejection fraction, maybe like left main more than 50, proximal LAD more than 50, 2 vessel or 3 vessel disease with impaired LV function, proven large area, if there is even symptom is there or not, a large area of ischemia, more than 10%, single remaining patent, even if it is not left main, not proximal LAD, single vessel, but it is last remaining vessel with more than 50% lesion, and 1 vessel disease without proximal LAD and without 10% ischemia is a class 3 indication. So that is very, very important thing to remember for prognosis. But single vessel disease without proximal LAD, without left main, without large area still can be revascularized for symptomatic relief if it is refractory to medical management. So we can see all depending on single vessel and dual vessel, either surgery or plastic can be done. But if it is non-proximal LAD, plastic is preferred. If it is a proximal LAD, either can be done. As far as left main and multivessel disease is concerned, if it is a low syntax score, low functional syntax score, both are equal. But if it is a higher syntax score, then definitely surgery is to be preferred. This is, I will show some of the slides. So this is like you say the distal left main with high syntax score. This is one the ostial left main. But there is a little difference in the Europe versus United States. United States is a little more conservative as compared to the European guidelines. Syntax score 21, less than 20, definitely maybe plastic, and maybe syntax score more than 32. 50 odd, so it is a CABG. And definitely one thing is assessment, anatomical as well as functional. And while doing the procedure, the more important thing is the preparing the bed, like debulking, maybe score balloons, maybe cutting balloon, maybe rotablation, lithotripsy, maybe use of imaging, maybe IVUS or OCT just for finishing the job. So the purpose is to finish all the whatever necessary. Like this patient, ostial LAD with some RCA disease there, but with this the stage plasty. This is post CABG again. If it is a in a couple of years after CABG, then it is preferred to be done with maybe graft will be done. But otherwise, once the delayed long duration after CABG, then is to avoid it, the SVG to be avoided. If possible, do the native vessel. So post CABG, it may be graft or it may be native vessel depending on the duration. Last but not the least is do not always concentrate on obstructive coronary artery disease. Earlier we used to say normal coronary arteries, everything is normal. No, it is not like that. It is not only it carries the bad prognosis. No, it is not like as bad as obstructive, but non-obstructive coronary artery disease also carries a poor prognosis, maybe microvascular dysfunction or maybe vasospastic angina. How to differentiate? FFR and CFR. If FFR is abnormal and CFR is normal, it is obstructive. PCI results are good. FFR abnormal, CFR abnormal, plasty will help, but it's up to certain extent. We need to treat for microvascular also. If FFR and CFR both are normal, nothing to worry, both are okay. If FFR is normal, CFR is abnormal, then definitely it is a microvascular angina. What is the take-home message? CAD with heart failure, preserved ejection fraction is a poor prognosis, but it can be improved with the revascularization. CAD may be bystander, or it may be just a cause of heart failure. It is just like a angina. Equivalent, proper assessment of all the blocks, not only anatomy, complexity, but it is functional flow reserve, maybe comorbidities, patient preference. The most important target is complete functional revascularization by using the debulking devices and imaging. The ultimate target is see the risk, benefit, and cost. And last but not the least, do not forget about the microvascular dysfunction. Thank you.